What's going on, good people? As promised, I'm finally going to cover the subject that I wanted to talk about yesterday, actually. It's about the three teenagers that did a TikTok prank called Ding Dong Ditch. For those of you who are not that old, you probably don't remember that game. Basically, you kick the door or ring a bell and run. Stupid. Real dumb. I mean, I probably did it as a kid. I'm just thinking. I don't even know. But it's a little different though because I think when we did it, I'm not saying it was any better because you still could have got hurt. It was in the projects, and basically you don't own that apartment. It's an apartment. You renting it. You don't own it. So this situation here, um, this was a homeowner, and these three teens decided to play the ding dong ditch. Allegedly, they didn't know the area they were in. They basically just decided to do it in this area in Fredericksburg. It's Spotsylvania County, I think. So things are a little different in certain areas. I'm from New York, and basically there is no self-defense. You can get a concealed carry, quote unquote, or whatever like that, but your your powers are very limited with a concealed carry in New York City, specifically New York City. Unless you're law enforcement or some other kind, you might be able to get a concealed carry, but I'm gonna tell you, New York, pretty much every time you're gonna be wrong. It don't matter if you do everything right. But I'll get to New York. Let's talk about places like Virginia, Texas, and Florida, which are pretty much considered to be gun states or whatever you want to call them. In my opinion, every state should be a gun state. You should be able to defend yourself no matter which state it is because of the Constitution. All of this concealed carry and gun licensing things, this is stupidness. You should be able allowed to use your Second Amendment right no matter what state it is in the United States. But this is where the separation of powers, the the branches of government play a part in, because um you have different legislators of government. You got the city, state, federal. So federal is the top, but the state controls what they want to do as far as laws within that state. So basically, the federal government allows you every state Second Amendment, but you know, individually the states can change it or they can amend it in a way that it works for their particular state. So like the feds were pressing New York before to allow people to fully have the Second Amendment, and they allowed it, but they started putting all these little stipulations to it. And pretty much everywhere that you're allowed, they allowed you to carry the firearm, but the place that you're actually allowed to carry, I mean, the place that you actually would need to carry is the place you can't carry. You can't carry on the train. You can't carry on a bus. You can't carry in churches. We know about all these mass shootings that happened in churches before. Why can't I bring my firearm in the church to protect myself and other people? But all those things. So, anyways, let me read you the synopsis of the story. So, Tyler Chase Butler, 27 years old, from Fredericksburg, Virginia. He's a homeowner. At about 3 a.m., three teens rang his doorbell or kicked his door or something like that. He came to the door and he opened fire. Now, when he opened fire, He injured one of the teens, and he fatally wounded or killed Michael Bosworth Jr. Now, on the surface, it sounds like, oh, this guy just came to the door and shot these kids, whatever, whatever. But let's think a little deeper into it. Actually, before we go that route, let me go this route. So, we all know that people use racism and race as, use it in different ways, right? So, notice I didn't say a black man or a white man, but I'm going to tell you, the person who did the shooting was black. The teens were white. Does it matter? No, it don't matter. Somebody's dead. Doesn't matter what color they are. But what does matter is, let's go to upbringing. See, first of all, 18 years old, yeah, you're an older teenager, but you're still a teenager. I'm going to go on record and say I don't even consider 19 years old to be a grown person. You know why? Because still got teen behind it. Guess what? 19 years old, you can't buy cigarettes. You can't buy liquor neither at 19 years old. So why is it that people consider 19 years old to be legal and to be, you know, my daughter just checked in. And my daughter's 19. So she shouldn't be drinking or smoking. But either way, I don't consider that to be a grown-up. And there should still be rules set from home where the parent says, listen, there's certain things you don't do. You don't go on nobody's property. You don't go on no one's property unless you're invited. And at 3 a.m. in the morning, ain't nobody inviting you on their property. I mean, somebody knock on my door at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm not going to go to the door and shoot them. But I'm going to wonder why the heck you at my door at 3 a.m. And I probably will call authorities. 'Cause I'm not opening the door. I'm definitely not opening the door at 3 a.m. That's not happening. I'm not doing that. But this guy may live in a house. I don't know. I don't know as far deep as if it's a house or it's an apartment. I'm assuming it's a house because he came to the door and, he opened fire. It must be a house. Nah, I don't need a co-host because he came to the door and, he opened fire. It must be a house. Nah, I don't need a co-host. Nah, I don't need a co-host right now. Thank you, sir. So your dwelling, your home, you're allowed to protect it. I'm not sure if Virginia is or stand your ground. It may be a little bit of both. I know Florida stands your ground, so there is no retreat. There's no option to retreat, quote unquote. Anybody knows deeper into that, any LEs on the line, know deeper into Virginia's specific law, let me know. So basically, let me see. I wrote down a little bit of law here. And again, if you don't know what ding dong ditch is, ding dong ditch is a stupid game. Ring somebody's bell or kick somebody's door and run. I mean, it's been going on for years. It's been going on since I was a kid. But now I hear that TikTok's got some sort of thing where they're trying to, get views or whatever like that, go viral. So they got kids out here risking their lives, as one did just risk their life to play this stupid game. It's not a good game. And parents, tell your children, do not play this game. Because there are places where nobody's playing. Everybody ain't playing games. Everybody's not playing games out here. Life is not a game. Everybody's looking to have fun and be entertained, but there's nothing entertaining about dying or getting killed. So we got to do better. You got to do better. Do not tell your kids to go on people's property for no reason. It's not right. If you're not invited, you don't belong there, don't go there. Don't go. I don't even like going to neighborhoods that I don't belong in. Like, what's the purpose? So now, okay, VA law, breaking and entering. My glasses on here, so I can see this. Breaking and entering dwelling house with intent to commit any misdemeanor. If a person breaks and enters dwelling house while said dwelling is occupied, either in the day or nighttime, with the intent to commit any misdemeanor, except assault and battery or trespass, he shall be guilty of a Class 6 felony. However, if the person was armed with a deadly weapon at the time of such entry, he shall be guilty of a Class 2 felony. So Class 2 higher, Class 6 lower, both still felonies, and you don't want a felony on your record under no circumstance, because that's going to affect you getting better jobs out here, affect your career, even low-level jobs. You know, they'll look at your record and they'll see that you have a felony, and they're not supposed to do this, but who's going to enforce the law to make them hire you or consider you for employment if you have a felony? Maybe no one. So you don't want to get this on your record. Virginia also has a self-defense law and the offense of dwelling law. I didn't write these out, so you can look those up. Just look up Virginia self-defense law to find out more about Virginia specifically. Also, I recommend, whether you a concealed carrier or not in your specific state, look up the rules of engagement in each state. Some states may even not require you to have a concealed carry license. And actually, that's another thing that I just didn't read I didn't tell you. So, Mr. Butler, the homeowner who killed Michael Bosworth Jr., he was actually arrested and charged with second-degree murder, malicious wounding and use of a firearm, or malicious wounding and use of a firearm in the commission of a felony. Now, the question is, did he have a permit? Did he have a license to carry? Because why are they giving him these charges? If he's licensed to carry, he's in his home, he didn't intend to murder the kid, Michael Bosworth. He didn't intend to murder anyone. I'm pretty sure he felt that he was defending his home from potential break-in or robbery. And this is segueing into something else I want to say. If you're a gun owner in any state, I don't remember the name of this website, but you should be able to find it. Just look up CCW lawyers or something like that. If somebody knows it, put it in the chat. Get a lawyer and get this CCW coverage, because you don't want to get arrested and sit in jail and then have no lawyer, and now you're waiting on and putting your hands in the mercy of the court, putting your case on the mercy of the court, that they're gonna let you, give you a fair trial, let you free, or whatever the case. Because here it is. Let's say everything is right. You got your license, permit, whatever the case, but you don't have a lawyer. You don't have someone who could be the median in between you and the judge and the jury and actually plead your case the right way and know what to tell these people, tell this judge and tell the jury, so that you can get off. Because something else I was reading, in California, I guess some kids did the same thing, so to speak, a little different. And this guy ran him over with his car. Now, he's doing life in prison. So I don't know how that one works, because that's a little beyond the law right there. Because, everyone knows you can defend your home. But getting in your car and running somebody over, that's bending things a little bit right there. Because, how is it that you're in your car and you're running somebody over to defend yourself? That don't even sound right. But in this situation here, everything sounds good. He's in his house. He's protecting his house, quote unquote, from potential burglary or house breaking, and he fires at them. Now you may have some people saying, "Why couldn't fire a warning shot?" There are no warning shots. Just so you know, that's TV. That's completely TV. There's no such thing as a warning shot. If you're a gun owner, you should know this. If you didn't know this, you might have been sleeping in class or something. If you're former law enforcement, you know this. There is no warning shot. It does not exist. Get that out of your head. People may say, why didn't he shoot them in the leg? You may not know this, but a leg shot can bleed out. There are major arteries in the leg. You can bleed out before the ambulance gets there. And then you're really going to get hammered in court because they're going to say, why would you do something like that? Were you trained that way? In which you were not. I don't think that even concealed carry classes teach you to shoot someone in the leg. The targets at the ranges don't have legs. This has a torso. That's it. So, and also understand a gun is not just a gun is a deadly instrument. It's a tool, but it's a deadly instrument. Its intention is to kill or cause deadly harm. So it should be used as a last resort. Unfortunately, some states may not allow you to have a taser or pepper spray or whatever like that. Actually, some people can take pepper spray. So that may not even help you out. If you had that. A taser, I think some people can get killed from getting hit with a taser, depending on what's going on with them. They have a pacemaker. You don't know what somebody's conditions are. But I guess you would assume that someone that has those conditions would not go out here causing harm to someone. So why would they even try to put themselves in that situation? But anyways, if you're a gun owner, you better know your stuff. You better know all of the small rules that go with your state. Not even small. I may not say small because they're all important. But any laws that pertain to concealed carry, that can pertain to defense of your property, yourself, your person, know those rules, know those laws. Make sure you get lawyered up if you get in a situation. Like, I wish I knew the name of his website, because what it is you pay a monthly fee. I think it's like $10 or something. It's not a lot of money. You pay that per month, and then something goes wrong, you call them. They handle that. They cover all your legal stuff, whatever. They know all the legal parameters back and forth for every state. So they're gonna get you out of that jam, so you're not sitting in daggone jail eating chicken. So you don't want that. You don't want that. I would hope. I don't want that for you. You don't want to be sitting in jail. You defended your home. You defended yourself. And now you got to be treated like you're the criminal. I'll give you an example. I did armed security for a while. And I had a police officer tell me, if I use my firearm, like say God, I had to use my firearm in a situation, when he shows up on the scene, he's going to take my firearm. And I'm like, why would you take my firearm? If it's a good shoot, quote unquote, nothing out of the way, but you're going to take my firearm. And he's like, that's the protocol. And I'm like, wow. It's almost like you think you have some power, but you really don't. As an armed security guard in the state of Virginia, you have arrest power. Now, I never arrested anybody. I wasn't trying to. My thing would be is, I'm going to try to handle the situation to my ability as much as possible. If it gets to the point where I feel like I may have to make an arrest or something, I'm going to call the police and let them handle it. Because guess what? If I arrest that man and I'm wrong, I'm gonna get hit. I'm gonna get hit with all those legal red tape, all the legal fees, whatever like that. So you better be right and knowing what you're doing. Don't just go out here thinking you're the cops, because you're not. You're armed security. You're there as a presence. Armed security and unarmed security actually have the same. They have the same position in a way. Yeah, unarmed security has arrest power. Unarmed security does not. But you both do the same job as far as a presence. You present a presence to potentially ward off bad behavior, quote unquote. I mean, what's going to happen is going to happen. You're not going to stop nothing. So if you got guys that's going to do what they're going to do, they're going to do what they're going to do. They don't care about you being there. They don't care if you got a gun. Care nothing about that. One time I was doing security, and this guy walked in the place I was being security at with a gun showing. Showing right there. Now, I could have told him he can't come in here, but actually there was no laws or anything against it. Actually, even if they tried to say, well, we don't want him in here, he's got a gun, he can actually fight against that because state law allows him to have that gun anywhere, except for the post office, the bank, and the DMV, or government, federal buildings. The only place he can't have that gun. But a restaurant, a club, they can't tell him he can't have that gun in there. They can go back and forth with him all they want, All that's gonna happen is the cops gonna tell him to leave, as long as he's not actually pulling the gun out on nobody or doing nothing crazy. They're just gonna tell him to leave. They can tell him to leave, but they can't tell him he can't have a gun in there. They can't say no guns. And you see that, especially in New York. You will see signs up, no guns, or whatever like that. Or no, there's no weapons. Second Amendment says I can carry anywhere. It doesn't say that I can only carry, down a block, around a corner. It don't say that. That ain't what it says. You gotta know your stuff, and you gotta let folk know. I remember one time in New York, I was going in a club, and I was law enforcement at the time, and the bouncer tells me, "Oh, you carrying?" I was like, "Absolutely." And he's like, "Well, you can't come in here with that." I'm like, "Why not?" I was like, "I showed you my badge, showed you my ID. Why can't I have my firearm?" He said, "We don't allow that." He said, "But let me talk to the boss real quick." So he went and talked to the boss. Boss comes to the door. He says, "I want you to come in and have a good time and patronize my club. But he says, if you come in here, then I will hold a secure your weapon for you." And I said, "Absolutely not. I'm not giving you my firearm. You kidding me? No way." He says, "Well, I can't let you come in here." I'm like, "All right, then I just won't come then. I go down to the other club, whatever." And that's what I did. I didn't go in there because I'm not going to go somewhere and, take a chance of running into somebody or whatever like that, or getting into something. No. And trust you. I don't know you. Trust you my firearm? No. The only place I'm trusting my firearm besides myself is it going in the daggone safe. Or it's going in the armory or something. It's not going to some random guy. I'm not giving you, "Here, hold my firearm." Nah. Not doing that. I wouldn't even trust going to a police station that I don't know and tell them to hold my firearm. I'm not doing that. Another way around it is just don't go certain places that you feel if you go somewhere that you feel you need to have a firearm on you, don't go there. Just don't go there. It's just like if you know a neighborhood is bad, why would you go there and hang out? Why? And for what? What are you looking? You got death wish or something? Like, what's wrong with you? It doesn't make any sense. But I really wish I knew if Mr. Butler, the homeowner, if he has a license or a permit. I don't know. I looked at several different news websites and things like that. Can't find information. It won't say if he had one or not. Being that, like I said on the surface, being he got charged with all these different charges, you would think he had an illegal gun. But the thing is, if he had an illegal gun, oh, you're wrong all the way anyway. You're dead wrong anyway. If he got an illegal gun and he did everything right, quote unquote, he's still going to get charged. So it don't even matter then. You know, an illegal gun, just as bad as anything else, especially in Virginia. They're going to tear you up in the courts. I look at Virginia and Pennsylvania as a double state because it's a commonwealth, but it's also a state. And why I say double state is because Commonwealth can make up laws on the fly. Right now at 1 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, they could be right sitting somewhere in their office somewhere, if they were up right now, whatever, and decide to make a new law. And you won't find out to it until Monday morning. That's when you'll find out what's going on with that law. That is crazy. It's no way to live, but it is what it is too. That's what happens sometimes. So you got to really toe the line on things. You got to be ahead of the game and know what you can do when it comes to the law. What are your powers? What are your hands tied on? Certain things like that. I remember my daughter asked me for pepper spray before. She wanted to carry pepper spray, and I didn't want to give it to her because my thing is that I'm like, what if in the heat of the moment, right? You pull that pepper spray out and you spray yourself. You've never been hit with pepper spray before. You're going to panic. You're going to panic, and then whoever's actually trying to hurt you is going to really have a field day with you now. So that was one of my fears of giving her pepper spray. That's why I'm like, nah, no way. And then also, I'm like, what if we spray other people that's not involved? You know, I had a situation one time. I was on the train in New York. Not myself personally having a situation, but a situation happening around me. So this lady and this guy, they was in arguing, whatever like that. And the lady says, well, if you do something, if you say something if you say one more word to me, I'm gonna spray you. I'm gonna spray you now. I'm gonna spray you with this pepper spray. I'm standing next to this guy, and I'm like, ma'am, I hope you got good aim. That's what I told her. I was like, cause I don't want to get hit with no pepper spray. And I'm like, if she knew anything about pepper spray, that would be the worst thing she could do right there is spray pepper spray in a closed-in area on a train like that. Because you got, at least 100 people or more probably right in them train cars in close proximity. Who is this? Nah, I ain't no co-host, brother. Whoever was sending me co-hosts, I'm running the show right now. So all these people, say people get sprayed by the pepper spray, you gotta account for that. You gotta speak up for that now. You're gonna have all these people running around crazy. There ain't no water around. There's nothing around to decontaminate them. Do you know how when they find out who did this, what's gonna happen? They're gonna, the lawsuit they're gonna hit you with is gonna be crazy. You're gonna wish you ain't do that. I don't like pepper spray. I've been sprayed pepper spray before, in training and things like that. But I don't like having to spray somebody with something like that because when I was in law enforcement, it's not, if I spray somebody, I have to decontaminate them. It's duty. I have to do it. I can't say, just let them suffer or whatever. Like, I got to decontaminate them. Whereas a civilian, regular person on the street, they could spray somebody and they could just let it go. They could just leave that person right there. Now, imagine you pepper spray somebody and now they walk in the street, cars come, they get hit by a car and die. That's on you right now. That's on you. But anyway, like I said earlier about this whole situation with the ding dong ditch. Tell your kids, do not play this game. Serious situation. This kid just got killed, 18 years old. You know, to my understanding, when I read his story, he's a few hours away from going to his prom the next day. So now he's not gonna ever experience that. Of course, he's dead, and you can imagine how his parents are probably destroyed. But they might have been able to save this kid's life if they actually sat him down and talked to him. You know, not at 18. This is something. This is something you should know at even 11 years old, or even whatever. You don't teach your kids to go on anyone's property uninvited, unannounced. And this is not just the black kid. No, this is all kids. All kids. I don't care what color you are. I don't push that over here. I don't do that racial thing. Whatever color you are, don't matter. You don't go on nobody's property. You don't go nowhere you don't belong. Because that's when things happen. This kid would have been here today had he not played this stupid game. And the family might even go as far as going after TikTok. I don't think they're going to get any money from it, but you just never know. They may try to say, well, TikTok pushed the prank or whatever, or they pushed the viral thing or whatever you call it, the challenge. But that don't mean that you have to go do it. You know, the term everybody's doing it is probably the worst thing that ever came about. Never do what everybody's doing. Because what's for everybody is not for you. You know, everybody's backflipping off a bridge. You gonna do it too? Like, no. Don't follow everybody. Don't follow what everybody else is doing. Because it's not right. Just because everybody's doing it. It's sad. When I read that story, I just like, this was something that never even had to happen. You know, these kids didn't know they were going to go. Well, that kid didn't know he's going to die that night. He didn't know that. He definitely didn't know that. But, 3 kids go out here and one dies and one gets wounded and lives to tell a story. But guess what? Forever, that's going to be on his mind. He's going to remember that for the rest of his life. He's going to remember that he went and played this stupid game and he lost his friend that night. He's going to remember that forever. I'm hoping that when he has children, that he teaches them different to not play this game. To not go anywhere they're not invited or welcome. My uncle used to tell me, anybody outside after 12 a.m. is pretty much up to no good, right? He said the only people that should be out after 12 a.m. is the cops and the robbers. And besides that, maybe people coming from work or something. Or people that have overnight jobs, whatever the case. But under no circumstances should you just be aimlessly doing nothing after 12 o'clock. And I stand on that. I stand on that to this day. If I ain't got no business, I'm not going to just be roaming the streets at no time. Especially now, at this old age. But even as a young man, I'm just roaming the streets for no reason. Always had somewhere to go. Always had a destination. I'm not gonna just be driving around doing nothing. The difference between New York and Virginia, what I've noticed, well, there's many differences. But after 12 midnight, well, actually before midnight, most things are closed. So it's kind of like, what are you even doing out anyway? At about 10 p.m., everything is shut down. That's it. It's over. The only thing that's open after 12 midnight is Wawa and Waffle House. And we all know Waffle House, what goes on in Waffle House after midnight usually. Fights, and a whole lot of foolishness. Actually, Waffle House has cracked down on a lot of that because now, I don't know about every state, but here in Virginia, they have takeout windows. So you can't even sit in Waffle House past 11 p.m., 11:30 p.m. After 11:30 p.m., it's over. There ain't no more sitting inside. So you either gonna go to the takeout window and order your food, or you gonna come back at 6 in the morning when they open them doors back up, or 7 in the morning, whatever it is, because you ain't going in there no more. They're tired of all of the violence and all the foolishness that goes on after people come out the club or whatever, wherever they're coming from. They want to fight and use Waffle House as a daggone WrestleMania. It's not going on no more. Nah. And they have every right to. They have every right to. And before I forget, like I said, it's past midnight, so happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Happy Mother's Day to my wife. With our mothers, none of us will be able to do what we do. Men and women included. So your mother is definitely important. My mother is no longer here, nor is my grandmother. They were great women. I loved them, respected them. And they're forever remain in my heart. So if your mother is still around and you can hug her, you can hold her, let her know how much you love her. You do that. Because you just never know. You don't know how long you got with them. And you just don't know. Anything can happen. So love on your mother while she's here. Show her all the love. Show her all the respect. I don't care if you're not on great terms. Make it your business to let her know more than just Mother's Day. Let her know every day, if you can, how much you really feel about her. How much you love her, how you really feel about her. Let her know. Mothers are important. What else? So I wanna hit y'all in the head again about getting a lawyer. If you are concealed carry, you have a concealed carry permit, please get a lawyer. I don't remember you know what? Let me see if I can pull it up. Because I really want you guys to get this thing. Because it'll save you a lot of things. The terminology, I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. Yeah, it sounds cute. But guess what? Nobody really want to be in jail either, though. I mean, nobody wants to be dead, but nobody wants to be in jail for potentially the rest of your life for killing somebody. You don't want to go there if you don't need to. Get this thing here. This device is very slow, but hopefully I can pull it up. Let's see. Here it goes. So it's called U.S. Let me see if I can type it in. See, I'm new to all this live stuff, so I don't know how to type it in. But anyways, it's called USCCA membership. If you are a concealed carry holder, make it your business to get USCCA membership for concealed carry. And if USCCA or anybody online with that, don't show me some love and send me a little cash app or something, getting that free marketing. But get them, join USCCA. They will give you you'll have a lawyer, or they will give you legal help. and they will protect you in a situation of you have to use your firearm or whatever the case like that, so that you won't have to go through, sitting in jail 3 and 4 months or whatever the case, and they ain't even call your case to trial yet, nothing like that. Or even worse, you go to trial and now you're doing life in jail because you didn't want to spend a little $5 a month or whatever the case to get this lawyer that could have helped you out of the situation. Because it don't matter how much I read the law back and forth, backwards and forwards. I'm not going to ever be as good as a lawyer. The lawyer is going to know the law better than me, no matter what. And same with you. Unless you're an actual lawyer, you're not going to know those laws like that. So it will behoove you to get USCCA, USCCA legal services to aid you in defending you against going to jail potentially for using your Second Amendment right. Because if you have your license or permit to carry and you're defending yourself in a quote unquote good shoot, somebody breaking into your house, somebody holding a gun on you, you want to be able to get out of the situation, scot-free and not have no issues. That's the downside, unfortunately, to when you have to use your firearm for real. People would say, oh, just call the cops. If somebody's like, let's say those kids that were just doing a prank were really trying to rob this guy's house, you think the cops are going to get there in time before they at least shoot him, the homeowner, or anybody else's family in that house? They're not getting there in time. They're not going to get there in time. And another part I didn't read in the story. The story's online if you want to read it for yourself. It's basically Fredericksburg. So you just type in teen shot and killed during TikTok prank in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Pull that up, and you'll get it. But I believe the homeowner actually called the police himself and reported it. He reported that people were trying to rob his house. He did that before he even actually went out here and shot this kid. And we don't know what the kids were wearing. The two kids that survived, they said they were just doing a prank. Listen, teens and younger folk, stop with the pranks. Everybody's not playing out here. I said this earlier. Everybody's not playing. I'm telling you right now. You're going to run to the wrong person and they ain't going to be playing, and you're going to wish that you ain't do that prank. What's the name of a type of prank? There's a prank that they do sometimes where they do they like to mess with security guards or mess with police and get them riled up and try to record them and then put them on like YouTube or TikTok to make them look like, overly aggressive or whatever the case. And then they make up a whole narrative about what happened to their story. So it's nothing to play with. It's just nothing to play with. It's just nothing to play with at all. Just basically, be a good citizen, mind your business, and as it pertains to like bothering people and pranking, and just live life, enjoy life. Don't bother nobody. Leave people alone. I think I done said enough with this story here. If you tuned in, it don't look like anybody in here. I don't even know, but I'm gonna actually record this. And if you didn't see this video, I'm gonna put it on my other platform, YouTube, because I'm normally on YouTube. I don't really come on TikTok to do stuff like this, but I have been lately. So my YouTube is Zave Catino. You just type that in the search engine, I should pop up. I should be the first name pull up on YouTube. It's XAV and then Catino. Catino is CUTTINO. You type that name in on YouTube, and you'll find my YouTube channel. If you can't remember that, it's also in my bio right here on TikTok. I'm gonna take this video and upload it over there. So if you didn't get it to here, you can see it over there. And when you watch it over there, be sure to share it with whomever. You can subscribe to my channel over there. Follow me here on TikTok. Also on Instagram. My Instagram name is also in my bio here. And that's it. That's about it. I'm gonna see y'all soon.